Welcome back to FreightWaves Now this Monday morning. Exciting stories coming out of ShipHero this last week. We've got their founder and CEO, Aaron Rubin, on with us this morning. Talk about all the things going on at his great company. Aaron, welcome to FreightWaves Now.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Aaron,
Go ahead, Anthony. You go.
Aaron, I'm just curious. Can you tell us and start us off with a little bit about ShipHero?
Hey, Anthony. So we started like 7 years ago as a software provider for warehouses. So e-commerce focused warehouses used our software to run their whole system. And then 2 years ago, we launched our own set of warehouses, which was good timing with the increase in demand. So these days we provide software for e-commerce companies that have their own warehouses, as well as outsource fulfillment services for e-commerce companies that don't want to run their own warehouses. And we do about $5 billion worth of goods shipped through our systems every year.
So the really interesting thing about ShipHero is that you guys just raised $50 million in a fund, right? And prior to this is their first institutional fundraise. So everything that you guys have done in the last 7 years has been all on your own, really independent. Talk to me about the decision to keep it independent until now and what this means, getting this institutional funding means going forward.
Yeah, so we've been a profitable company. We still are. So we did it sort of the old-fashioned way, right? Just charge our customers, they pay us, we grow, keep going. So we did that, and then with the increased demand during COVID, there was a lot of inbound interest from investors, and then also our competitors raised a lot of money. So sort of those two things came together, and we decided that we have multiple competitors that raised like over $100 million that we go head to head with. So we're like, all right, we'll dip our toes in the water and see what's available. Got a bunch of really high quality firms that were interested. Ended up just taking all the money from a single firm called Riverwood Capital. So that just closed. We just got the money in, and now I got to spend it all.
So, Aaron, one of the biggest things that always happens whenever there's a disruption in the supply chain or when it's swinging back that pendulum where all the attention's on transportation, a lot of technology enters the market. We don't really see that technology always sticking around when times of slowdown, but as you mentioned, you've stayed independent, you've done old-fashioned, definitely starting to stand the test of time. What's some of the things that you're kind of telling people that this is still going to be important moving forward, even when we see a potential slowdown in transportation?
Yeah, so I mean, we're on the e-commerce fulfillment side, so that's really been ramping every year, going up, about 10% a year. These days, we're seeing a lot of big CPGs. So we've got some like Fortune 500 companies who are for the first time going direct to consumer. Some of them, during COVID, some now that COVID's ramping down, are selling direct. So they all need help with selling direct to consumer. They're usually shipping, pallet in, pallet out, or full truckload. So getting into the small parcel is new to them, and we're helping them out.
And so, Aaron, you guys talk about how you guys did that $5 billion in goods processing through your history. Talk to us a little bit about what the last year has been for you guys in terms of growth and how much you're processing as people have changed their buying behaviors to be more e-commerce centric.
Yeah, so last year we did 5 billion in GMV. The year before it was 2 billion. So really, really big growth. This year we'll probably be a little shy of 10 billion.
Holy cow. That's massive growth.
Massive. And Aaron, I think you hit the nail right on the head, really being a part of that e-commerce growth trend. I mean, one of the big things that we're seeing within e-commerce is that it's not slowing down. And one of the things that we also saw was that just because there is that instant ramp up, usually we don't see that substantial growth. But of course, that growth continues with e-commerce. Aaron, are you still seeing maybe that e-commerce is still going to maintain that rapid momentum as more and more traditional brick and mortar stores start to enter the market?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think obviously we're not going to see the growth we did last year, but look, we've been seeing 8 to 10% growth in the market every year. That looks to continue, even with lots of reopenings. I think we saw our first month over month decline. It was like a 2% decline. Like that's about it. So no big drop off. And I think at this point, every brand knows that they have to be selling direct to consumer, that's the way a lot of people want to consume their products, because that's how they did it during COVID. And they don't want to go back to going to Walmart to pick up their dog food, right? They're used to it just showing up at their house, and it's convenient, and that's not going away.
So talk to me a little bit about the competition in this space that you guys are seeing, Aaron. Obviously, a lot of people saw the opportunity to get into the e-commerce fulfillment space. And how are you guys kind of measuring up when it comes to the other competitive companies?
Yeah, so we have like one simple difference. So all our peers have multiple warehouses. The one things we do different is we allow our customers to send all their containers to a single warehouse. So typically that might come into Nevada because it's coming in through Southern California, truck to Nevada, and then we distribute that product among our network of warehouses. So we're shipping out of 9 warehouses right now. That allows us to ship to the end customer really quickly. So we're typically there in one day. We're always there in 2 days. And it's going via ground instead of planes to do that, which is cheaper and better for the environment. So that's our approach. Get close to the end customer. Shorter distance shipping is better for everyone.
So a bit on your question with what's going on with competition, but what's going on with internally when you're looking at retention or recruiting for employment? Is this an area with that ramp up in growth that you're also seeing that you need to ramp up and kind of getting more people in-house?
Yeah, definitely a big challenge, right? Like every other part of the supply chain, hiring is tough. We've always been at $15 an hour starting, even before COVID. Now it's more, it's 18 or $19 starting, competing against. So like we have a facility in Allentown, Pennsylvania, Lehigh Valley, that's super hotbed for fulfillment to the New York City metro area. So we've got a Amazon facility within a few miles. I think it's the largest FedEx ground facility in the U.S. within a few miles. So we're competing with labor for them, and then we also compete with retail, right? Because a lot of times, same people might consider both working in retail and working in logistics. And it's definitely a challenge now. We do pretty well on retention, so you might see at a large facility like a FedEx facility more than 100% annual turnover, maybe 110% annual turnover. We're much lower than that. We're closer to 30%. So we don't have to do as much hiring just to stay status quo. But as we've been growing, it's definitely a challenge hiring and getting good people in the door.
And so, Aaron, we talked about this $50 million in funding, and Anthony begged the question, how are you going to spend your money? What is next for you guys when it comes to looking towards the future? Obviously, we're coming out of this COVID-19 pandemic. Things are coming a little bit more back to normal, but our entire industry is changed going forward. How are you guys going to capitalize on that change and what's coming next?
Yeah, so I mean, we're hiring more product people. So we have like 55 software engineers right now. We're going to get that to 100 over the next 12 months. We're hiring more designers, and we're opening more warehouses. So we've got a deal hopefully closing soon to acquire a couple 100,000 square foot facility in Jacksonville, Florida. We just signed a lease on another 200,000 square foot facility in North Las Vegas, Nevada, which is super competitive space to try to get area to try to get space. So just doing more of the same, right? More people and more warehouses.
So Aaron, if people need a hero, how can they contact you or get in touch?
So shiphero.com, it's got all the info, and I'm at Aaron, Aaron, at shiphero.com.
Amazing. Thank you so much. It's really exciting to see companies take the grassroots effort, build up their revenue, build up their money, and then take it and be like, you know what, now we can have this investment and do big things with it in the future. Aaron, congrats to you guys on that funding round, and thank you for joining us on FreightWaves Now.
Thank you. Appreciate the time. Bye.